You ever find yourself stuck between two choices? One is a risk you kind of get. You can wrap your head around it. The other one, it's a complete mystery. We face this kind of thing all the time, and believe it or not, the choice we make says a ton about how our brains are wired. So let's dive into this fascinating little quirk of the human mind.
Okay, picture this. It's a simple choice. Over here on the left, you've got a known risk. Think of it like a coin flip, a straight-up 50-50 shot. But on the right, you've got an unknown risk. The odds? Total mystery. Could be 90% in your favor, could be 10%. You just have no idea.
So which one are you leaning towards? What's your gut telling you to do? The one you can calculate, or the one that's just a big question mark?
If you instinctively went for the 50-50 option, well, you are not alone. Not by a long shot. The vast majority of us do. And what's really wild is that we'll stick with that known risk, even when the unknown option could be way, way better. Why? It's simple, really. The feeling of not knowing is often more painful than just accepting a risk you can see.
And that, right there, brings us to the main event today, ambiguity aversion. That's the official name for this bias, this predictable little pattern where we'd rather deal with the devil we know than the one we don't. It's a powerful and often totally invisible force in our lives.
I mean, this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of it. This isn't really about logic or crunching the numbers. It's all about how we feel. Our brain is just hardwired to want clarity, because clarity feels like control. Ambiguity, on the other hand, that just feels dangerous.
All right, so this isn't just some abstract thought experiment. This bias is working in the background, quietly shaping our decisions every single day. And most of the time, we don't even realize it's happening.
Now, what's so cool about this is how this bias scales up. I mean, just look at these examples. It starts with the small stuff, right? Like sticking with your go-to restaurant order instead of trying that new place everyone's raving about. Then it gets bigger. Think about your money. Keeping it in a savings account with a tiny, predictable return instead of investing in a promising new company that feels, well, uncertain. And then it hits the biggest parts of our lives. Staying in a job you know but don't love because the idea of starting a new career is just terrifyingly ambiguous.
So why? Why do we do this to ourselves? Is our brain just designed to play it safe and settle for mediocre? Not at all. It's actually coming from a very old, very deep survival instinct. Our brain is just trying to protect us, and it does that by chasing control. Let's break down the logic here, because it's pretty straightforward. Think about it from our ancestors' perspective. An unknown rustle in the bushes was way scarier than a predator they could actually see. Uncertainty triggers anxiety. It registers as a potential threat. So to fight that feeling, our brain craves control and predictability. A known risk, even a bad one, feels manageable, like you can make a plan. But an unknown risk, that just feels chaotic, and that ancient part of our brain just starts screaming danger.
But here's the crazy twist in our modern world. This very instinct that's trying to protect us, it actually comes with some pretty serious hidden costs. That safe choice can end up being the riskiest one you could possibly make.
And this is where you really see the damage. When we're constantly dodging ambiguity, we box ourselves in. We stop exploring, we stop learning. On a bigger scale, it kills the innovation and creativity that move us all forward. But let's bring it back to you. It just encourages you to stagnate, to stay stuck. And look at that last point. It totally messes up how we assess risk. We end up favoring what's comfortable over what has real potential value. We're choosing comfort over growth every single time.
So here it is, the big paradox. This is so crucial. When you try to avoid the risk of the unknown, you don't actually get rid of risk. You just pile it all up in one place. The quiet, certain risk of never growing, never discovering, and never, ever finding something better. Okay, so the big question is, how do we fight back against a bias that's so deeply wired into us? Well, the good news is, we absolutely can. Let's walk through a toolkit for making better and, frankly, braver decisions. Here are 4 steps you can actually use. First up, seek information. Do a little homework. Turn that unknown into something a bit more known before you just automatically say no. Second, you have to consciously compare the potential outcomes. Ask yourself, okay, what's the real upside here, not just what makes me feel comfortable right now. Third, start small. Seriously, try the new restaurant, make one small investment. These are low-stakes experiments that help you build up a tolerance for the unknown. And finally, and this is the most important one, reframe your thinking. This right here, this is the mental flip you have to make. You have to train your brain to understand that unknown does not automatically mean harmful. It just means not yet discovered.
Making that separation in your mind is the key to unlocking so many better choices. And that really brings us to the final big idea here. The goal isn't to be reckless, right? It's just to be clear-headed. It's about learning to press pause and ask yourself one simple question. Am I avoiding this because it's genuinely dangerous, or just because it's making me feel uncomfortable? Answering that question honestly, well, that can change everything.
And that's a closer look at ambiguity aversion. This is the thinking error.